The Garden Club of Elizabethtown presents Pollinators.
Well, Leanne is a member and has been past president, and she does all kinds of other things as well. But she is passionate about pollinators. As a former mental health therapist and a recent grad with a concentration in environmental sustainability, she's going to discuss the importance of the partnership between humans and pollinators. We will also specifically explore the world of beautiful butterflies as they help pollinate the earth. Since pollinators are declining and are responsible for 1 out of every 3 bites of food for humans, didn't know that?
Yeah, you learned something.
I know. How can you help with their plight? She's going to present a beautiful program. Everybody welcome Leanne.
Yay! Thank you. Thanks for being here today to learn about, sorry. Okay. Thank you for being here today to learn about pollinators. I hope that you do learn something and then you just feel so inclined to go out and help save them. So first of all, we hear a lot about pollinators. We hear it in social media, we hear it in the news, we see the stats, and we say, what is a pollinator? A pollinator is anything that transfers pollen from one plant to another within the same species. So it has to be within the same species, causing the production of fruit, seeds, and flowers. So if we don't have pollinators, and it's not a self-pollinating plant, we're SOL. Yeah. So, what are some types of pollinators? Well, your number 1 pollinator is the bee. And so, I think that's what most people think about anyway. And bees are fascinating because they purposefully collect pollen. And in fact, they have little pollen baskets that they fly home with this pollen in. And one of my professors called them recyclable bags, reusable bags, because they just use them over and over and over to do the same thing. So they're very exciting. Then we have flies. Flies, but they're very important in the alpine areas, the subarctic areas, the areas that bees cannot go to. There are fewer bees in those areas. You have wasps, not my favorites, but they are pollinators. Then you have butterflies, and butterflies are important because they can see the color red, and bees can't see the color red. So they balance out with what they can pollinate and what they can help with. Ants, they can do it. Moths are important because the yucca moth, for example, helps pollinate the yucca plant. So without that moth, it doesn't get done. Bats work. They're very important, and some people think about bats here, but it's not necessarily our bats that are pollinators. Bats over in the tropical areas, bats in the desert, those are your pollinators. Bats here are just fun to watch. They get your insects. You can have fun with that.
No beetles?
I'm not done.
Oh.
If you want bats to your yard, there's some plants that you can put that will attract the insects, and then they will come. And if you want to look at bees to see the variety, there you go. Yeah. Along with bats and beetles, the ladybugs, we have the wind, which is a very exciting, and we have honey possums of Australia that help with eucalyptus. So when you're thinking about pollinators, a lot of times it's the birds, it's the butterflies, it's the beetles, it's that sort of thing. But then we have to think bigger, and we think about the animals. So the honey possums with the eucalyptus. So the lemurs climb into the top of the traveler's tree in Madagascar, which I think is fascinating because they not only transfer the pollen, but they also drop the seeds, and then you continue the process. And the interesting one to me is this Ethiopian wolf, because the studies are ongoing, but he will go and stick his face in the red hot poker plant, and then the pollen will transfer to the next plants. And so they're doing studies to determine if this carnivore is an effective pollinator, or if it's just kind of helps along the other beetles and ladybugs and such things. So that's an ongoing study. But I think it would be fascinating if we have carnivores that are also pollinators and all the things they can do. So why do we need to care about pollinators? Simply put, They are important for your life. They're very important for your life. Studies have shown, and this ties into my other profession way back when, but studies have shown consistently that if you are outside and you are around a blue area, if you're around water, so a lake, an ocean, think how you feel when you're there. If you're outside in a green area, if there's flowers, if there's trees, if there's plants of some sort, your mental health will improve, most likely, because everything gets lowered. Your stress gets lowered, you're thinking about other things, you're just enjoying your day. So that's how they're important there. Think about when a plant blooms and you're so excited, you're like, oh, it came up. Or you hear a bird sing, or you see a butterfly go by, or whatever it might be. Pollinators are found in healthy ecosystems, which are important for us because they help with the soil, they help with erosion, they help with oxygen, they help with medicines. So they're very useful there. What might be most important to people is the food security that they provide with 1 out of 3 bites of your food coming from pollinators. So if our pollinators disappear, so will we eventually, unless you eat something that they don't do. They're also important, and they do things like the bee colonies will be transported to California to help with the almonds, and then they're going to go to Pacific Northwest for fruit, and then they go to the Midwest for blueberries, and then they do squash. So they're very busy bees as they travel along to different areas, but they have to be hand carried and traveled. So without that, that's also a problem. So we have the chocolate. We have chocolate, which I will share with you, because of the midge fly. The midge fly is the primary pollinator, even though the fly itself can be annoying. Without it, there would be no pollination for the beans, and then we wouldn't have chocolate, and then people would be sad. I would be sad anyway. So there you go, if you want to share that. Why are pollinators declining? Which is what we hear in the news. Bees are declining, bats are declining, everything's declining. Because they have habitat loss. Yeah. People are out taking down trees. They're out taking out the tops of the mountaintops. They're building more buildings. They're doing all these things, and some of them are necessary, sure. You know, we need buildings, and we need businesses, and we need this stuff. But how can they make it better? Can they plant some more plants when they're done making that building? Can they not have a huge building when they just need a small building? That kind of thing. People use pesticides, which if you go down a road, and you guys live close, so you might go down a road in your golf carts once in a while, you are gonna see yards that are just, they're green, and they're lovely, and it's awesome. And then you're gonna come to our yard, and it's gonna have clover, and it's gonna have dandelions, and it's gonna be the standout yard. And I'm like, well, I'm just doing it for the pollinators, so sorry about that, guys. The diseases, pollution, predators, there's any number of things that can wipe out your pollinators. If you can see this picture right here, this is a horrid stink bug. You guys have stink bugs at your houses? This stink bug, I went out into my garden to look at my beautiful caterpillars one day, and this stink bug had turned my caterpillar into a gooey mess and was hauling it away. Isn't that gross?
It is gross.
It's gross. It's terribly gross. So anyway, I had to get rid of him.
Are stink bugs not pollinators?
I don't know if they are or not, but they killed my caterpillar right there, and that was more important to me.
They're actually an invasive species, so and nothing eats them, so that's why there's so many here. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They're from China.
So that one got smashed. So how can we help with pollinators? You can volunteer. You can not use pesticides. You can donate money. You can educate others. Those are pretty simple. But what I would really like you to do is make some sort of pollinator garden. It can be a small one. It can be a large one. Native plants are generally preferred, but I don't have just native plants in my yard. Butterflies need host plants, and I'm going to talk about that over there. And some pollinator-friendly plants are some that are here. So this is bee balm, and coreopsis, and guara, and yarrow, and dill. Dill is a host plant for butterflies. if you can see this, and I don't know if you can, pollinators need support all year. So it starts with the daffodils, and then the summer has zinnias, and then the fall, and then the winter. Some people participate in the leave the leaves. I do, but not everybody likes the way it looks, or they worry about mold or that sort of thing. But anyway, in the spring, the plants are coming, the pollinators are coming back, and they need hibernation. They need food from hibernation, and they need migrating, and so they need food from those busy times they have there. In the summer, there's just a lot of them out there, so they're just going to be needing to share what is there. In the fall, they need food before they go on that hibernation and that migration. And then in the winter, they need places to stay. So that's why you leave out the stuff, and then they just live in the stalks. And then when it gets to be over 50 degrees, you can do what you want with them. If you want to certify your garden, and this is what people were talking about last year, if you want to certify your garden to do the Monarch Waste Station, you can fill out this paper. You can go online, it's monarchwatch.org, and you can fill it out, and you have to have requirements. So you're going to have perennials, you're going to have annuals, you're going to have nectar, you're going to have shelter, you're going to have sustainable practices. And then once you do this, and you may send away for your little sign, it's about $18, and then you can put your sign in your yard. And then when people are coming along and they're like, hey, what's that sign? And you can say, I help monarchs survive. And they can go, wow, I'd like to do that too. And then you have educated people, you have brought them into your conversation with just a simple little act. It's not hard, the requirements aren't hard at all. Pass that to you. And if you wanted to have a National Garden Club certified sign in your yard to do the same thing, it talks about how to get a pollinator certified garden. This is about native plants. This is bloom periods. You're welcome. And this is pollinator syndrome. So this is going to tell you what the pollinators are, what they like. They like a lot of blooms. So don't just put one flower. One flower is better than no flowers. But if you can do the rule of three, so you have 3 flowers at all times blooming during the 3 seasons, that would be awesome. So this is just giving you a little information about that.
Can you email copies of all of these to everyone after the meeting?
I could try that. I don't have a scanner.
Or you don't need to come from the website?
There are websites listed on there if you want to look at those.
Take a picture with your phone.
I'm going to have this up here. I'm going to leave this up here during the break and then for a little bit after. So back to making a pollinator garden. We as a club have made a pollinator garden down at Freeman Lake. Have you been down there to see it? Well, you should. So long ago, it was started as a butterfly garden, long before my time. And then in 2023, I took it over because, we had COVID and it had sat there and things had happened and whatever. And so I changed it. We had our healing garden over by the tennis courts, if you guys remember that at one time. So now it's all in one garden, one area. So we have the healing garden on the left. We have the Monarch Way Station in the middle with our sign. And then we have the educational garden on the right. And so the educational garden has the Lemon Queen sunflower in it. And if you want to do this at home, you can. It's part of the Great Sunflower Project. You plant your Lemon Queen sunflower, and then you see how many pollinators come. You record that data, you send it to them, and it just helps out.
So where do you buy these?
Oh, you can buy the seeds anywhere.
Oh, you have to go by seeds.
Yeah. Yeah. So with this, we are helping the pollinators, but we're also helping people, because it doesn't matter when I'm down there 7 in the morning or 7 at night. There are people coming by and they are talking, and when other people are down there doing things, people are talking. And they're saying, there's 2 ladies went the other day, and they said, when we see these flowers, it just makes our day. And I thought, well, that is why we do this, for the pollinators, but for the people too. And then we go back over here and we say, it makes our day. It increases our mental health. It makes us happy. These are good things. So that's why I really, really like this garden, and I really like that people from all walks of life come to it in all stages of life. There's no No time or no anything, you know, I mean, when the park is open, but that's what we do there. So last year, you guys filled out surveys and you wanted to learn about butterflies. I don't know what you wanted to learn about butterflies, so I'm gonna tell you a little bit. Basics and then some fun things. So we have our life cycle of a butterfly. How many stages do we have?
3, 4.
Good answer. We have the egg and the caterpillar, and then it goes through a chrysalis, and then it emerges into a beautiful butterfly. Have you ever seen the butterfly come out as an adult from the chrysalis? Is that fabulous or what? This butterfly right here, this caterpillar, oh, right there, my bad, was coming out, and it was the time that we had those really big rains, and so I'm like watching it, and like, you can do it, little butterfly. Okay, so it gets out, crawls across, and then immediately falls into a water puddle. I'm like, butterfly, you have no survival skills, come on. So I go over there with a little metal decoration, and it climbs up on it, and I got a shovel, comes keeping the rain off it, and then I put it in a pot, and like, you can do it. And eventually it flew away. So I think I survived. So it was a happy ending, but I looked at that and I thought, I don't know about you. Yeah, exactly. So butterflies, caterpillars need host plants. Host plants are the absolute necessary thing or caterpillars will die. Now some caterpillars, like the monarchs, they will only eat milkweed. So if we don't have milkweed plants, we're not gonna have monarchs. That's why there's this push for the milkweed plant. I think that's why our monarch is seen everywhere on posters and everywhere else, because they only have one. It really isn't a very good idea. It's not a good survival plan, but that's just how it is.
Any kind of milkweed? Not the tropical.
Not tropical here, because it confuses them on their migration.
So the scary balls.
Something like the spice bush swallowtail. You know, it'll eat spice bush, it'll eat sassafras. It's not too picky. And then there's others that have a whole long list. So depending on what you want in your yard, plant that and hope for the best. The favorite colors of butterflies, red, yellow, white, orange, purple, and pink. So you can probably pretty much find flowers in those colors if you want to see a butterfly. What is their favorite place? Their favorite place is anywhere except way down here at the very bottom where it's super, super cold and they're not gonna be happy. So I'm not gonna live there, so I'm not gonna worry about it. You're probably not gonna live there, so you'll be able to see butterflies all the time. Their favorite food is nectar sources. So if we're looking at this, if we're looking at that down at the park, we have sunflowers, we have Joe Pye weed, daisies, cosmos, we have cosmos everywhere. We have asters, we have goldenrod, we have bee balm right there again. You can buy these anywhere. So, you know, if you just want to hop down there and buy some, put them in your yard, that'd be great. If we're looking at butterflies, it's interesting to me, personally, that this is the top of this spice bush swallowtail, and this is the bottom. So they look like two different butterflies entirely, but that's one butterfly. And then down here for the black swallowtail, you have blue if it's female, yellow if it's a male. And over here on this tiger swallowtail, I cannot tell these four apart because they look the same. And I guess it really doesn't matter. They're still swallowtails. If we look over here, we have the monarch and we have the viceroy. And Barbara did a presentation on that one day. The viceroy is our state butterfly. Did anybody know that? Isn't that impressive? I'd like it to be the monarch, but I'll settle for that. The viceroy has a horizontal stripe right here, and our monarch does not. It has a flight pattern that's faster, they're smaller, and they don't migrate. Monarchs will migrate every single year, and that one doesn't. All right, so those are your basic facts. Any questions over there? Yes?
How long do monarchs live? Do you know?
Monarchs have 4 or 5 different
As a
times a
butterfly.
year. Yeah.
It's like specifically as a butterfly, because they have to make that migration. So I didn't know.
So some only for a few weeks, months, and there's one batch, well, I can call it batch, goes all through winter, so they live the longest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are in winter in Mexico and California.
And then they come back. Yeah. I've tried to, get a general idea, like how long does a butterfly live and how long does it take, but it depends on the butterfly and it depends on where they are and it depends on so many things, just like anything. Like if you ask a gardening question to 5 gardeners, you might get 5 different answers. That's what I have decided. So, fun facts over here about butterflies. This is the Western Amazon rainforest. This is a turtle, in case you can't tell, and those are butterflies on top of it. And you'd say, why are those butterflies and those turtles' eyes? That seems a terrible idea. Because they're getting the salt from the tears, but they cannot find the nutrients around where they live. So think about that, and you go, okay, so what was the first butterfly that said, hey, let's hop on a turtle's eyeball and see if it works? These are the things that I wonder about, like who decides that? So that's that. This one is a carnivore and he will eat aphids. Yeah, not very usual. This one, elk on blue here, it somehow is very, very tricky. See, and this goes back to who decided this? How did they come up with this? But somehow, this butterfly tricks ants into raising its caterpillars for it. I'm like, what a lazy daisy parent, So that's interesting. The painted lady and the monarch both have the same kind of coloring, but the monarch, we always hear about the monarch and its migration and that sort of thing, and it does it every year. The painted lady also has a very long migration route, but you don't hear about it as much because it doesn't do it every year. So if it's hungry and it needs food, it's gonna go find it. It's not just gonna be like the monarch and go get warm. That's not how it works. This glasswing butterfly has transparent wings and it can carry 40 times its weight. So think about that. That would be like carrying a car or something on your back, Car, small house, a shed. Another thing I sit and I think about, what if we were this butterfly and we could just carry things on our back? How much simpler life would be, like you're just going from place to place. This butterfly has an 88 on it. It just looks unique. The peacock uses the eyeballs right here to try to scare off its predators. The brimstone is the longest living butterfly, and it will live up to 13 months. This is the shortest living butterfly, and it only lasts a few days. So after all that work to get out, it just lasts a few days. It was so sad. This one, the northern pearly eye, it flies at night. Butterflies do not have eyelids. I also found this interesting. They don't have eyelids, so butterflies don't sleep like we sleep. They just kind of hang out, they roost, but it's not the same. The mourning cloak plays dead around its predators. This longwing, this one eats pollen and it does it on purpose because it helps it live. Over here, if you can see that, this is a butterfly that is found in Uganda. Now I want you to think about this. You're out in your garden and you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden a butterfly comes and dive bombs you because you're in its area. That's what this butterfly does. And then I was thinking, how much would that actually hurt if a butterfly ran into you? Like, does it depend on how fast it's going, how far it's been? What does that depend on? But you can't escape these butterflies because they have compound eyes, and one eye will have 17,000 mini eyes, and so they can see in all directions. They can see 10 to 12 feet away. They're gonna see you coming, no matter what. So,
How big are they, do you think?
these?
Yeah, big enough to hurt you if they
I don't think so. The biggest butterfly down here is 11 inches. Now that one, maybe it could do something. The smallest one is only half an inch.
Wow.
But that one, I don't know. But still, it's a butterfly. So the Miami blue is one of the rarest in the world, and the island marble was thought to be extinct, and then somebody found it again. Wouldn't that be exciting, to be the one that finds something that you think is like, imagine if you find a dinosaur. Wouldn't that be awesome? I think it would be. These are some papers about butterflies. There's resources, Butterflies of Kentucky. You can take a picture, you can look at it later, whatever you want to do with it. So after all of this, my question to you is, since pollinators help your life so much, and they are important, and they're helping you eat, and they're helping you breathe, and they're helping you not have your house fall down a hill because of erosion, and they're having all these things, what can you do to help the pollinators?
Use insecticides. No insecticides.
No, right, right.
Ban golf courses. Probably the most toxic per square foot there is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that's not a popular idea over there, but.
Sorry, golf. Sorry, Sydney.
But yes, the water, the everything. So, any questions? No questions? Okay, well, I'm gonna leave this up during the break, and I'm gonna leave it up for a little bit after. So if you wanna look, if you wanna look at the papers, if you think of a question, whatever. And then remember, plant, 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 and if you plant host plants, like this dill, you have to plant two. But if you plant them, then you will have butterflies, hopefully, come and visit your house.
So I think, well, you know what, and I bet Leanne would be thrilled. See how pretty she has those? Those are like in miniature gardens almost. So you could plant
Yes.
your plant and put it in a
And
miniature
put it
garden.
in a miniature garden. So if there's anybody that wants to make a miniature garden for the garden tour and more, it's very easy peasy. Look, that one just has rabbits in it. But anyway, there's a sign up sheet back there if you want to do it. All you need is a container and a plant and something to put in it, and it's a miniature garden or a fairy garden or a dragon or a dinosaur, whatever you want it to be.
So can we thank Leanne for, oh, maybe this Where did you find the containers?
I made it, bought it. This one was just at Walmart, it looked kind of boring, so I just colored it in with a Sharpie. It's pretty easy, made it look a lot better, I thought. And that was over at Lee's Nursery in Hodgenville. I mean, you can find them anywhere.
Yeah, right, you can.
I look and I find them anywhere, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so thank you again, Leanne. That was
You're
a great
welcome.
answer.
Thank you.